And this, oh, hello, Kasim. I'm so happy you joined us. Thank you so much. This is part of a series that I've just initiated. I'd love to have you as a guest as well, called Reimagining Immigration. And I'm here with my dear friend, Kate Scott, who is an author and an artist and a puppet maker. And she is a conservationist. She runs this ranch that she's rewilding with her husband, Tony Heath, not far from the border wall in the Arizona borderland. She was very, very much a part of getting the Doug Ducey wall halted back during the first Trump regime. And now she is living alongside and and what's the word I'm looking for? Falling prey to uh,
Mm.
wall sickness because the boondoggle wall. Now, most of us we are absolutely aware of what is going on under this regime, vis-a-vis ICE becoming a paramilitary army, vis-a-vis the expansion of a concentration camp style infrastructure network in our country. But because all our eyes have been on our cities and on ICE brutality, we have maybe forgotten that the brutality has is going on at the southern border as well. Right now, this regime has waived hundreds, not hundreds, dozens of protections, environmental protections and archaeological protections and sacred sites protections and all kinds of protections to build out the wall all the way across the continent. And it is right now cutting through the most beautiful, beautiful biodiversity hotspot in the world, the San Rafael Valley. I was there just last month, was it, Kate?
Mhm.
With Russ
Yeah.
McSpadden, with others in the borderlands who are trying to raise awareness about how this wall is doing nothing but making Tommy Fisher of Fisher Sand and Gravel rich. In making him rich, it's cutting off wildlife corridors, it's depleting precious water resources, and Kate is on the front lines of working to stop this abomination, um, or at least raise awareness about it. And she's has organized a weekend happening, she calls it, at the
Mhm.
border wall, a rally for the valley to save San Rafael Valley and to bring this border wall down. Now, I wanted you on here, Kate, to tell us all about what's happening, to rally
Mhm.
people to get there if they can. And if they can't, we're going to do some live streaming from the event. But I thought of you because you've always said to me when we're together that, you know, you get yourself up every morning and you get back to the front lines under the under the shadow of this hideous wall because you refuse to live in this world. You want to live in the world that you imagine. So
Mhm.
this is why I wanted to get you on this series of reimagining immigration. Some people are, talking about reimagining the legal system or reimagining, you
Yeah.
know, um, the way visas work, but you have a natural world perspective on this issue. So tell us about your happening this weekend and tell us, you know, what is it that gets you up and back to the wall every day? What is it you imagine? What would you rather our immigration system be in this country?
Well, I thank you, Sarah, so much, and I thank my husband who's he's listening too. He's the one who brought back that happening word that was used so much in the 60s because it conveys that we show up and it's very flexible and fluid, improvisational, and it's participatory. It's not just us. We do have a show where we're showing, we have performers that we know are going to show up to perform, but everyone can perform. Everyone can be a part of it. I have about 14 of these animal masks, and I have
Amazing. Let's see it
this is
again.
this is the ocelot,
Okay.
and I have a jaguar, and I have 13 others of the animals that mostly the mammals that, but I also have birds that are affected by the wall in the valley. And because it falls on Endangered Species Day, and we just had, excuse me,
Ah,
we just had International Migratory Bird Day this last weekend.
uh-huh.
365 million birds around the world are migrating all over. So there's a bird migration, there are people migrations, there are mammalian, there's insect, there's plants. So, and a lot of that we bring out at these happenings using art. Art is the only way that I've been able to bring the message out because, as you know, my husband and I and others, excuse me, have been battling this since 2019, some of them since 2018. And we have been saying all the same things that you're hearing now from Big Bend and all these other areas of what they're doing, and to no avail because of uh, the monstrous regime we're living under. We have to reimagine our whole country at this point, the Constitution, the way we govern ourselves, the way we treat people, and immigration. And immigration is really driving it. And there's always a good thing to something that's really horrible that's happening. So if everything is falling apart, everything is being exposed because there is no laws in our country anymore, really. We'll get taken to jail if we don't pay our taxes and if we don't do, but the billionaire ruling class now, hooked in with Trump and everything, they can get away with murder, and they are, as you know, Sarah. We just had our
Yep.
18th death today in ICE that your dear friend Austin Coker is following so quick. So, how does this continue to go on and go on and go on? So we have to be monitors now and witnesses. We can't, unless we want to end up in El Salvador prison, try to do
Mm.
some of the things that we would like to do. And we have plans, would love to do them. So we do what we do as artfully and as fiercely and as joyously as we can, because
Yes.
joy is defiance, joy is refusal.
Mm,
Why are you people having a party, for God's sakes? Why are
mm.
you? But see, the party is intentional. We're resisting down there. We're not just getting together and cooking hamburgers and hot dogs.
Right.
We are resisting through our art, through our music, through our drumming, through our poetry, through our statements, through just I have a performance piece that I'm hoping to get to Broadway someday, because we need the animals' stories. We need what is happening in our natural world. Their stories. They have lives. This is their only life too. Some of them only. This little guy here, he's lucky if he lives 12 years. So imagine that. And we don't value him. He's endangered. He's more endangered. He's the most endangered animal in our country. And we have a
Is this the
jaguar.
ocelot or the
Us,
jaguar? That's the
the ocelot.
ocelot. Okay.
The jaguar is here too, and he's endangered, of course. But it's
Can you
so they're
just
all,
can you step
yeah.
back for a minute and tell us why this wall
Hmm.
is a danger to the natural world and therefore us?
Well, it's 30 foot, 4-inch openings. Nothing. I mean, very few small mammals can get through, maybe, but like a desert tortoise, a pretty big size jackrabbit could maybe, but they're confounded by it. So they approach it as if it was electric, and it would, they don't know what to do. So and then they can't go anywhere else. They have their corridors figured out. There's some trail cam footage that we have shared that shows the jaguar going past the trail cam, shows the bear,
Yep.
so they're on a path, right?
Mm,
And
mm,
they can't just say, okay, I'll go over here. They don't know where the over here is, if there is an over there or an over here. So
right.
and that's something that I don't think people can really wrap their heads around. They just think, oh, they're animals. They can run and find this, and there's water there and here. No, they're going to a specific area for food, shelter, their family. to breed, to find mates, like the jaguar up here, who's called Cinco. We're hoping he's going to be named by the Tohono O'odham Nation to get a beautiful name for him, because he's the largest male cat we've had north of Mexico. Since, so he's the biggest cat we've had, according to experts that follow these, dimensions of animals. So imagine that. He knows this is a good place to be. But he won't be able to get here. So the wall stops everything. It kills. It
So
blocks.
their routes are north south, and
Exactly.
they go as far as where, and as north as where, and they're being trapped by the wall.
Yeah.
So they
Right.
won't be able to mate. They won't, their species
Exactly.
will
They're
cease to
blocked.
exist.
They're
Yeah.
blocked, and so if Cinco and Oshad, we have two jaguars that are moving from mountains to mountains out here. When the wall is completed through our valley, which we're predicting easily that they'll be through it by the midterms or before,
Yeah, they're
they could.
moving at like 3 miles a month. Or, I mean, it's
It's a
just
mile, a
breakneck.
mile a week, a mile a
Oh my
week.
God. Oh my
I just got that from my friend Eric Metza yesterday. It's going so ridiculously fast, but the horrible other truth that people don't know, that Eric and I are, and my husband and my other teammate Zach Palma will hopefully continue this monitoring and making people aware, is the double wall construction.
I was
Arizona
going to
is going to
ask you
have.
about that. I saw some
Yeah,
drone footage the other day. They're
yeah.
actually putting up a double fortification in the San Rafael Valley, which,
Yeah.
forgive me,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
cameras have proven people don't pass through there.
No, they don't. There was a Sky Island Alliance, with their cameras, found there was one person in 20 months, and that could have been a border patrol. That could have been a hunter. It could have been a rancher. They just see an image. So it's just the cruelty that we can't wrap our heads around. And I have a quote that was from a 9-year-old uh, friend of ours that showed up, and she's a Navajo, with her parents to do make people aware of what's going on. And she says, "I can't understand how humans can destroy, pollute, waste, contaminate to build harmful borders and be so cruel just to make a profit. Do they not know that money is worthless if Mother Earth and water are destroyed? Because I can't wrap my head around why they destroy everything that is sacred to us." That's a 9-year-old indigenous warrior woman. And these
Out
are
of
the
the mouths of babes.
and
Wow.
and I'm really going to be working more with these powerful women and men. I mean, they just don't. And my husband and I have been saying this over and over now. We can't wrap our heads around it. It's just a great thing to have in your head. Like, what is the motivation? It's because they want to destroy. They have nothing else in their lives. They have everything, the money, and they can do it. So cruelty, as you've said, is not okay, but they find it's okay. They
Yeah.
just cruelly desecrated a prehistoric petroglyph
Yeah.
that was carved out in rock in the Tohono O'odham, in Dos Cabezas, Prieta, a wildlife refuge. And there had been some Tohono O'odham women that were running. They were doing like a prayer run. And they
Mm.
ran back to tell an elder, Lorraine Eider, I think I'm saying her name right. Hiad Tohono O'odham leader. And she said that there it was clearly marked, and they had been talking, and they'd been, they didn't know that they didn't have to do it. And it was just this one guy, right, on his excavator, 2 or 3 guys. And so the cruelty is palpable out here.
Yeah.
People are doing things, ordinary people
Yep.
that know they can get away with it.
Yep.
My
Yep.
husband and Tony and I, we witnessed it, yesterday. There's just in our small town that they see your sticker, or they just know. And so Trump and his evil bootlickers are enabling people to be
Yep.
cruel instead of be kind. So
Well, it's also dates back to the Real ID Act of 2005, I think it was,
Yeah.
where Congress basically gave all its power to the Department of Homeland Security if it was in the national security interest. So
Mm-hmm.
now we have a regime that knows that they can just say, it's in the national security interest. So we're going to
Right.
waive all these precious, precious, acts of legislation that we worked so hard for decades to protect our water, to protect our wildlife, to protect our sacred
Mm-hmm.
sites, to protect native communities, to protect our
Mm-hmm.
cultures. So if I what I saw with my own eyes was blasting the tops
Mm-hmm.
of the Coronado National Monument, which is
Mm-hmm.
our land. It is
Mm-hmm.
public land, to
Mm-hmm.
create gravel to mix with water that they pumped up out of, ancient aquifers, the water that keeps the desert alive, to
Mm-hmm.
mix with the gravel that they took from Coronado National Monument to create cement to sit these 30-foot bollards in, which are going to
Mm-hmm.
fall over. Like, the whole
Yes.
thing is just such a boondoggle, and it's so expensive, and there's only one reason for it, and that is to make some campaign donator, in this case Fisher Grand and Sand and Gravel, rich. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, give Tommy Fisher his money and tell him to go, buy an island in the Caribbean and have a good life, right? Like,
Yeah.
leave the desert without the desert water.
Mm-hmm.
The trees are going to go, the grasses are going to go, the
Mm-hmm.
wildlife won't have its habitats or its food sources, and the wall is cutting their migration paths. How
Mm-hmm.
is that ultimately then going to affect us, right?
Exactly.
When
Exactly.
needed
We're
and
all, yeah,
our
we're
animals,
all interconnected.
we're all interconnected.
Yeah, and the trees are already dying and dead down there. There's a whole there's canyons of them
Yeah,
where I call it the standing dead, and someday I'm going to write a piece about it. And because literally big oaks just standing there dried up and dead,
yeah,
and wells are already going dry. Some of the ranchers I've talked to, and that's, I mean, that's just like even just a smidgen of what's happening because of the damage that it does irrevocably. You
yeah.
can we cannot put a mountaintop back together. I mean, that's one of our national parks that's just being blown up because it just
They're even
happens to
trying to
sit on the
build
border.
they're even trying to build at Big Bend, which is itself a
Yeah,
wall. Like,
yeah, I
it's
know. I mean,
it's
picture putting
insane.
one through the Grand Canyon. That's kind of the idiocy of it. And
Exactly.
so I just, the lunacy. So
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 tell us about your
so we, yeah.
weekend. What because I'm sorry to keep
Oh
racing
no,
through, but
no, no,
we've
no.
got a limited amount of time. Tell
We
us
do.
about what's going on this weekend and how we can get involved from afar.
Okay. Well, we have a 2-day event, as you said. We're camping out. We're occupying the valley. We're bringing our energy and our love and celebration of the beauty out there. Because even if it's damaged, it's beautiful, and you have to love it even more.
Yeah.
So we have beautiful performers. My good friend and activist, Will Clipman. He's a world percussionist, a mytho-poetical poet, percussionist, because he combines masks with poetry with his drumming, and he and I are going to do a piece. And then I have we were lucky to get a Tucson favorite performer of Kevin Pakulis's band, who's been around for a long time, and he's bringing his band down. He's going to wail on his electric guitar, and I said, I want you to wail on that, and so we can, let them know we're here, and we're going to have, we'll be art making banners, protest signs. We're going to wrap the cottonwoods that are over 200. I mean, they have to be as old as our country is, easily
Wow.
250 years old. They're so big around. They're probably 7-8 feet, of a diameter,
Wow.
this way, and we're wrapping them with our prayers and our poems with cotton strips that we're going to tie together, and we're going to climb up and have it be kind of wrapped as far as we can, because we
Nice.
want these people to see
Yep.
what they're doing when they go to cut these trees down.
Okay.
And we hope to be there so that we can be witnessing it too, because
Mm-hmm.
it abuts private land. So we can literally look at them,
Mm.
and so, but they do things very sneaky, so they can do things when you're not there. So, but we're going to show the people out there uh how we feel about it, and so
Okay.
and doing that. So that's what this, and how you can tune in is we're going to have an IG feed, Substack,
Great.
and hopefully Facebook, because on the other side we have our Sonoran community, and
Yep.
my friend Zach Palm is coordinating that. So it's a binational, multicultural happening, because they are upset
Amazing.
too. They don't want
Amazing.
their so these communities, we're co-creating communities of love, circles
Caring.
of love,
Okay,
caring and
great.
love. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you're there both to send a message to the workers who are just doing their job, but in the meantime, their destruction is generational. You're there to take pictures. I see Tony dropped in a YouTube
Yes.
link to his film that
Oh,
everybody
good.
should absolutely see. I highly recommend it. So you're going to be taking pictures and doing more video to blast out to the world. But so you
Exactly.
need our help to get the word out that
Hmm.
the abominations that are being inflicted upon all of us by this regime don't stop at the human world. They're affecting the
Exactly.
natural world too. And if the natural world is endangered, so are we.
Yes, exactly. It's ecocide. And ecocide, if you're taking away the water that you're ultimately going to need because of this monstrosity, and in other ways too, with the it 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 will directly affect us. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait till the last bird and the last this and the last that. Okay, but if I have to, I'll still be fighting, because I want to go down with them if
Okay.
that's going to happen. And I think that's the kind of ferocity we have to have in our hearts. We have to hold it in our hearts,
Yeah.
so they know they're not winning. They want us to turn into them versions of themselves, and I refuse to do that. And so
Okay.
that, to me, is what we hope to get out to other people that are fighting the same battles all across the world. There's global corridors of compassion we need to create for
Mm-hmm.
for people and for non-humans. All right, so why we have to, so that's what this little nugget that we're creating. And if my husband will be filming it, and we're going to continue to do these
Yeah.
happenings. We will go
Okay.
all across. So anyway,
This one is your second one or your third?
it's our one, two, three, fourth.
Wow,
And
okay.
if you want to call we had a camping happening, which was a smaller one, but no, so we've done four of these, and they're each different, and they're all, unique in their own way.
So
And
tell
then,
tell tell folks who are listening where they can go to find out where you're gonna be. If you're in the Arizona borderlands, you're gonna wanna
mhm,
go.
mhm.
So, where can folks go to find out where you're gonna be if they wanna be there physically with you? It's Saturday and Sunday, the 16th and 17th, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and where yeah, okay, go. Answer
Yeah.
that question. And then I'll ask my next
Oh,
one.
okay. Well, they can go to our Madrian Wildlife Substack.
Okay.
That has the directions, and I should probably be trying to type these things into.
I'll do that while you
Okay. Yeah. So if they could go there, they can go to our Madrian Archipelago Wildlife Center website, which is mockcenter.org. On the home page, I have the informational flyer and the directions. It's a beefy little informational flyer, so it tells you everything. Gives you the directions. It gives you what you have to bring, what you have to know. Um, then on my Facebook page. So those are the I can. But those two should do it. The
and
Substack and.
when's go time on Saturday?
It's high noon. Uh,
So that's
I
May
knew
16th at noon.
May 16th. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they can get there earlier, and hopefully that's why
And
we said no
you're
11.
gonna be camping out, so bring your gear.
Camping out, we'll be showing Tony's film.
Okay,
Um,
wonderful.
we're setting it up using the wall, the little wall. There's a little wall there. There's not the 30-foot, so we're able to kind of maneuver a little bit around that. And so we'll be showing his film, and but yeah, his film is really, really great for people to watch because and not just because he's my husband. He's the only one that captured that entire day of what we
Yeah.
did. And we had Adelita Grahova,
Yep.
our wonderful congresswoman who'd just been sworn in 48 hours earlier. And where does she go? She comes to us. She
Wow.
could have done a lot of things, but she said that in her own words, and it's all captured in that film. And so is the little the indigenous quote from Kiani Ross. She's in there too, so they'll see what we do. And
Okay.
Jaguar Rising is another film Tony created that showed what we that was in 2024, May 11th, 2024. So they give people that they can experience what we did, and
Yeah.
because you can't ever recreate. I'm a jazz musician, you're a musician, Sarah, my husband's a jazz musician, and so we understand improvisational actions, and it's creating these as an act of joy and love, and then with everybody being involved with you, it really it sends you out the door or from the valley re-energized to go fight and to
Yeah.
stand in defiance and refusal, and because
100%.
it's gonna get uglier, and we know that we're living through unprecedented times, and we don't even know if we'll survive. But I think we
Right.
will. I hold out hope, but it gets a little daunting for people, and I know a lot of my comrades have had to take a back seat. They have to say, "I got
Yeah.
to go, Kate. I can't do
We
this
all
anymore for a while." So
right. We
anyway,
all need to okay, so last two questions. For those of us
right.
who can't be with you at the border
Hmm.
wall in Arizona, Um, how do we find you if we are a member of the press, for example, and want to do a story right then and there? How is that the same place, Madrian Archipelago Wildlife Center? Is there
Oh,
contact information on there, or shall we share your contact right now here?
Oh, you can share my email
Okay,
too. That because that's the best way. And that's what I put on our last press release, the madrianwildlife@gmail.com is the best way. And yes, we welcome all the press that we can get, and we usually do very well in that category, if I may say so, because we've created a core of people that follow us, and I say,
great.
we're going to be here, and they go, okay, Kate, I'll try to be there. So they don't hesitate if they can come, because they know they're witnessing and being involved in something
Great.
that's, I feel, is special, that they need, and not just because we were co-creating it. It's something I need too. I mean,
All right.
and so anyway,
So
that's how they can
so
get me.
So, Kate, in the last couple minutes that we have,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm asking, going to ask you to jump ahead, right? We
Yeah.
we know these dark days will end. They
Mm-hmm.
are unsustainable, and these dark days always end. We just don't know when. But when they do, how do you reimagine the borderlands? What's the world you would rather inhabit?
Mm. Well, the wall will come down. We will welcome people in beauty and respect into our country. I would like to see no borders. I mean, we have to have, okay, if you want to have a cattle fence for your cattle, what we used to have, okay, to keep the cattle where they need to be. But we don't need these militarized ports of entry. They should be ports of welcome, a port of hope. Where we're having the happening, it used to be a port. You just opened a gate, and a little lady sat in there, hi, and you went into Mexico. So we're creating that port of hope at our happening. Lockheed, Arizona was where we had a port of entry. So why can't they all be like that? And so we're all joyously welcoming, celebrating these people, and hugging them. And then with the wall down, then we have this beautiful recreation that we can help for bringing the damage, uh, fixing what we broke the way we can. And that's not, as I said, it's never going to be the same. But but hearts and minds and hands will come out there. People have been telling me this for years. Kate, just tell me when I got to show up with that blowtorch and I'll
Oh,
be there. And I think we should make it like they did with the Berlin Wall. We show up and we get to take a section of it down,
yeah,
with our own hands. And I think, Adelita Grijalva is going to be with us with that cutting torch too, because she's going to
amazing.
work on getting the wildlife. I hope waiving the Real ID Act, because once that's gone, then an unelected Secretary of Department of Homeland Security cannot invade our country.
Yes,
They're the invaders.
we need to roll back that Real ID Act. Kate,
Exactly.
I'm so grateful to you. We will
Well, I am
all be
too.
going forward knowing that you're out there in the wilderness this weekend protesting this hideous wall with love and radical care and creating communities of compassion. We'll be there with you in spirit if we can't be there in person. And I'm really grateful that you could join us today to bring us up to speed. I'll put your poster and all the other stuff on my Substack when this
Thank you.
publishes, so more people can know. And let's do this again from the
Great.
happening.
Great. And as we wanted to end, because I think we're getting close, we lost a beautiful human rights activist, Magdaleno Rosavilla, and he was very supportive. He came to our first Jaguar Rising and he spoke, and I said, well, what did you think of it, Leno? He goes, keep going, this is great. And we were working on a performance piece, kind of, but anyway, he told me in his last email that I received from him, continue to dream and to do.
Yeah.
And I think how many words is that? That really, I just got a tingle from it. I mean, and have that twinkle in your eye all the time. Continue dreaming to do. So that's what we got to all do, Sarah.
Absolutely. Thank you for remembering Leno. We will miss him so much and his great big jalapeno love.
Oh my, the big jalapenos. I
You
know.
know he's going to be with you this weekend in spirit, wearing his hat.
He sure will. And Sarah, you are just a spitfire. You're just doing dynamic, wonderful things in all dimensions. And I don't know how you do it, but I'm going to try to keep up with you
I do it by
energetically.
keeping up with you.
Well, I really appreciate everybody that's joined, and I really, really hope people will come out and be with us. It'll mean a lot to us and to the Valley, and because she's listening. They are listening, I should say. They are listening.
Absolutely. The Four
Yes.
Corners, they're hearing
Yes.
it.
So
All right.
blessings of love and light to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And stay strong, because the only way through this is together.
Together.
Ciao for now, my love.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.